What's up, guys? This is Coach Cam. We are back again with a full body workout, starting off here with a bench press challenge. So, my friend challenged me and others on Instagram to do as many bench press reps as they can with their body weight as the added weight on the bar. So, I weigh about 167 and I put 165 on the bar as that's the closest weight I can use to that number. Repped as many reps as I could. So I got 17, which I was expecting to get into the 20s, but when I did the calculations based on 1 rep max, it actually equated to my previous best 1 rep max, which was 270. So take it for what it's worth. Next here, first real exercise of the workout was quad extensions. So same protocol here as I usually use. I want to point out, though, with that bench press exercise that honestly, it took 45 seconds and I wasn't even tired afterward. My muscles couldn't press another rep, but I felt overall fine. Like, no muscle pump, nothing. So, kind of concerned if some of you guys are training like that and thinking that you're doing the most you can to build muscle and fitness. I'm sorry, but that wasn't intense enough. Yeah, I did 17 reps, but I did it so fast. I was bouncing the weight. I was using the stretch reflex, taking the tension off the muscles and trading that in for more reps and doing as many reps as I can. So that trade-off is only worth it on exercises that you're going to compete in. But for general conditioning and strengthening, you want the muscle to be exposed to tension. You want to put the body under stress, which contracting skeletal muscle not only gives you strength and hypertrophy, but it gives you cardiovascular improvements too. How do you turn on your cardiovascular system if not contracting skeletal muscle? You have to contract the muscle. Your heart pumping more does not mean you got a better workout in. You could sit and watch a scary movie and drink some coffee and your heart rate would go up. Doesn't mean you're training, right? So it comes down to skeletal muscle contractions, which at a high enough intensity, which is what you get to at the end of a set to failure, challenging the muscle's functions, you will train all these factors, right? So next here is squats. I've added a 10-pound plate around my waist. I just prefer performing the reps like this. Still trying to find enough weight to make me finish set under 2 minutes. Keep going over 2 minutes. I'm also just trying to squeeze my legs and my muscles as much as possible, right? I'm trying to fatigue them. And you don't have to always rely on the external resistance or the external weight to do that. You yourself can squeeze the target muscle during the exercise and have an internal focus and eventually accomplish the same goal, right? So my body's continuing to recruit more muscle fibers as the earlier fibers are getting fatigued. It's only at the very end which you're really going to recruit the high threshold fast twitch motor units. Everything else leading into that is just ticking the boxes and just knocking out those easy, smaller motor units and muscle fibers, which we're not really trying to train those, right? We want to get to those heavier, bigger muscle fibers so that we can have more results, right? We can have bigger muscles, stronger muscles. And honestly, as you get closer to the end as well, that's when you're training the most intensely. Your cardiovascular system is also training intensely. Your breathing increases, the blood flow increases. Everything that's stressful about training occurs in an intense way at the very end of a set taken to failure. Here is calf raises, progressed by several seconds on this exercise as well. So far, the workouts are good. I highly recommend trying this. I think with getting more exercises in a single session, doing, 8 or 9, I'll say maybe 7 to 10 exercises as a general outline, that you get a stronger cardiovascular response. than if you just trained your arms, right? If you just did an arm day or just like chest and back or just legs, those are okay. But if you combine them all and get all those muscles done in one day, the systemic signal is stronger, right? It's a stronger signal for your muscles to be better conditioned, right? More cardiovascular fitness, more strength, more size. It's not necessarily better, right? Overall, long term, your training frequency is not what's going to determine your end results. It's going to come down to how hard you train. So, training a muscle again in a week, say, one time a week versus 2 times a week versus 3 times a week, the research is clear that there is not a better alternative. Training it more often does not get you more results. You get the same results, and the person who trained more often just chose to train more often. So next here is hamstring curls. This is the only hamstring exercise I've been able to do for the last several months, obviously just training in my house. But it's a very, very effective one. And at the very end of the set, you'll see as I contract the muscles against resistance and make the weight have to pull my legs back down. So you just want to focus on what you're doing and do what you're training for a purpose. This workout I started off with legs, right? Because we know that if you put training some muscles earlier in a workout, you can bias the stimulus a bit more towards them, be able to recruit more motor units. And really, it's just about effort, right? I can put more effort in to earlier exercises because I'm less tired. Whereas later ones, whether you like it or not, if you're more tired, you won't be able to dig as deep, right? You won't be able to push yourself as hard. That goes without saying, right? That's with anything in life, You can, focus more at 8 a.m. than you can at 6 p.m. after the end of a long, hard day that you've been busy all day. You're in a better mood when you're fresh and you can push yourself. So right here, final point where I couldn't get a full rep, but I'm letting the weight pull my legs down. I'm not letting it happen. I shouldn't say letting, I'm resisting it, but it's happening nonetheless because of the fatigue. Here we start the upper body portion, starting off with cable curls. 45 pounds on the stack, and I did 6 reps, I believe. So you got to remember, it's not about the weight. It's not about how many reps you did. That stuff is just how we try to measure what's happening, right? We want numbers. We want tangible records that we can take of our training. And we're trying to quantify what's happening at the muscular level. You want a resistance that is challenging, but one that lets you take between 1 to 2 minutes to do the set, because you want less forces on your joints, on your tendons, right? If I rip this really fast, curl this as fast as possible, I'm using a lot of momentum, getting less stimulus per rep onto my muscles, and the set will probably last 30 seconds. I'd be tired and I'd drop the weight, right? And I'd probably would have done like 25 reps. Instead, expose the muscles to tension the entire set by moving slower, right? You don't have to contract, you don't have to move your muscles and your limbs to contract the muscles. You can isometrically contract, as I just did right then at the end of this set to failure. So your muscles all day long are contracting in different ways, and they're not always moving weight, right? Your spinal erectors keep you sitting upright in a chair, but you're not moving them, but they're keeping you upright. Or when you're holding a pencil in your hand, you're not moving your fingers. You're just isometrically holding the pencil. So people forget about that, and it infiltrates the way they see training. And I have videos on this about the exercise science field, where you have people that think that repetitions themselves are the stimulus for adaptation. They think repetitions is what gets you growth. And so you have to do a certain amount of volume, a certain amount of repetitions to make that happen, which you and I, if you're on this channel, you've critically analyzed this and you've got to be thinking, wait a minute, you could just do several easy reps over and over again and not be getting any benefit. Just like you can go for really easy walks on flat ground and nice slow walks and not be really challenging yourself, right? Not be moving or contracting your muscles intensely enough to stimulate the most adaptations possible. If you had to choose between two people, one person is going to walk every day for their training, easy walks, and the other person is going to sprint and run as hard as they can for a minute a couple times a week. Who do you think's going to get fitter? Like, who do you think's going to have a higher fitness level? The person that pushed themselves harder. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's really easy stuff. So that's what I recommend. Recommend pushing yourself as hard as possible because we know that is what stimulates the body. That's what's stressful on the body, right? You want to challenge your body's physiology and you want to threaten it, right? This is threatening. This is highly threatening to the body. The body is stressed because of the training that we're doing. And that stress turns on mechanisms within the body, specifically within the muscle itself, and this at the cellular level, to increase mitochondria production, to increase your ability to utilize oxygen as part of your aerobic portion of metabolism. You're increasing your muscle hypertrophy as your muscle grows and has more contractile tissue. It is able to produce more force, which is what we want. If your muscle is stronger, it can produce more force. It now has to produce less force in all your other daily activities and things that are easier, right? Here is pull-ups. Got almost 5 reps, did only 4 reps, nice and slow. Challenging the muscles, right? This is not a competition. I'm not competing in this. I'm in the gym to strengthen my muscles, tendons, cardiovascular system. A lot of people don't understand when I tell them that the cardiovascular system is heavily involved in lifting weights because they don't lift as hard as me. I hate to say that because it sounds so cocky. It sounds like, oh, look at me, I train harder than everybody. And I hate that attitude, and I'm not trying to have that attitude, but it's just literally the way it is. It's literally science. If I'm training very, very hard and I'm activating my cardiovascular system to the point that I'm out of breath after my sets and you're not, that means that I'm pushing myself harder than you. So try a workout like this. Try this workout out. I have all these workouts posted. Try them out. Copy me exactly. And tell me how it was. Tell me how effective it felt. Your cardiovascular system, muscles, everything gets fired up, right? So here's my final flex. 167 pounds, 5'7" 1/4. You know the deal. So this has been a game changer for me. I hope you guys will try out training like this. And you can't knock it till you try it. People who do high intensity training, they've already done volume training, but it didn't work that well. And so we switched to this to see the same or better results. Thanks guys for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and catch you in the next one.